terms of success, one of the first things we need to look at is what's your definition of success. Everybody's definition of success is different. It isn't all about making millions or billions of pounds for each and every one of us. Success could literally be earning enough to have a quality of life that makes you happy. Again, what makes you happy would be different to what makes me happy. So that's one of the first things. A lot of these entrepreneurs, they have a belief, they have a vision that they want to fulfill. And essentially it's about a purpose that they want to make something either better or create something to make people's lives better. Richard Branson's always said if the idea is really good, besides doing all the due diligence and everything, he usually knows within a couple of minutes if he wants to invest in something himself, if he's been approached, or if he wants to follow something through. The money in terms of how exciting is that journey going to be? Yeah, this is something from Richard Branson. How exciting is the journey going to be in terms of this product or this service that we're going to develop? What are we going to learn? Who's going to be involved? What will it mean at the end result for those people? So in terms of the product or the service, the money, in terms of success, if it is money, is a byproduct of all the fun that you have and all the learning you have that goes along the way. So that's one of the things I'd be thinking about. If you're thinking about challenging yourself or moving from one career to the next, or moving out of a career, moving out of a job and going into self-employment, being an entrepreneur, if you're already an entrepreneur but you're feeling, your battery's getting down a bit and your enthusiasm is kind of waning a little bit, return back to what got you started. What made you first think, do you know what, I want to do this. Don't want to do that anymore, I want to do this. Return back to that. But ultimately, like I would say, the success that I've been able to have for myself is also making very clear of what I want of my life. What I want in terms of my day to look like, my week to look like, my month to look like, my year to look like. So several years ago, when my business could have been at a point, very, very critical point, where I was going to take it out of mainly Preston and Lancashire, and I could hit it to the big cities like Manchester, Liverpool. I was going to cover the whole of the Northwest. I was ready to become the #1 confidence coach in the whole of the Northwest with a plan of up to 3 years to be recognised as one of the top coaches, if not the best confidence coach in the whole of the UK. I was envisioning, going on, This Morning and this TV and that TV. And around about the same time, my wife was expecting our first child. And about 3 to 6 months around that time, I ended up coaching several people that were very, very successful, materialistically successful, who were coming to me for coaching, not so much around confidence that time, it was about work-life balance. It was about, I seem to have got everything that is the trappings of success. I've got the car, I've got the boat, I've got the holidays. What it is, I have built up a career, or I've built up businesses, several businesses, and I've been able to send my children to private school, but it seems like I don't really know them. They're in their mid-20s, they're at university, they're very happy, they've had a great childhood, but how do I now claim them years when I've been busy working to make all the money in order to pay for it all? And although the parents and the children have a good relationship, it's this particular person or these particular people I was coaching, they seem to be coming up more and more. And I didn't know what that was all about in terms of why I've gone from having several clients, which was much more of the confidence stuff, and several clients now are all talking about what is important in life. I used to get one and I finished that coaching series and I get another one around a similar issue, maybe they're referring to each other, but it kept on popping up. And then that's when my missus said, oh, I think I'm pregnant. And then I thought, oh, yeah, that's great. And then I was thinking, well, I got that networking to go to that day, then I'm going to do a presentation on this day. And I just caught myself saying all these things, looking at my diary, and I thought, hang on a minute, in about 9 months, we're going to have our first child. And what's life going to be like for me, for the wife, for the baby? And I thought, let me just sit back and try to picture what it's going to be like. And I was thinking, well, if my plan, as it were, to kind of, really go for it in Manchester, big city, and Liverpool, and the whole of the Northwest, and be really well known, I'm never going to be in. I'll be doing radio interviews and TV interviews, and I'll be saying to my wife, look, this evening I won't be around because there's a networking over in Salford, so I'll be there, and I'll be back home late, and then tomorrow I need to be up early. So I worked it out, that my week, and the first year, 2 years of that child development, I'm hardly going to be around. And suddenly it struck me that whether it's a coincidence or whether it was for whatever reason, all the learnings so as a coach, not only we're helping other people to grow, we're equally growing and learning ourselves when we're working with other people, yeah? I thought, do I want to be that guy? Because what will happen is, sooner or later, that baby will start growing. They'll be 5 years old and 6 years old and 10 years old. And I might go, do you know what? I'm really successful. I have achieved my goal, not their goal, not the family goal, but my goal in terms of I'm a very successful life coach or personal development coach, and everybody in the Northwest knows, and I'm on, Granada and this, that and the other, because that was where I wanted to head, and I was really tenacious and really, self-centered to get in there. And then I had a reality check, essentially, and that reality check was, you've just been working with a number of clients who've gone through these journeys. Do you want to be the next one? Are you going to be sat in front of a coach in 5 or 10 years' time telling the same story? Or are you going to be thinking it yourself? So I made a drastic decision. I decided to give up on the shiny goals of being the famous coach everywhere and took it right down and right back and just doing very localized coaching. That's the time when I ended up working with the universities and just doing a 3-day week by choice. Just 3-day a week. And I spent a full 4 days then. It allowed me to spend full 4 days just with my wife and the baby. And I did that for maybe 8 years, just working 3 days. So we got 3 children. The first 2, I was with them right the way through, only working 3 days. So there were sacrifices in that because I wasn't out working as often as I could have done. So holidays were different than other people that are working full time and all the rest of it. But there were good sacrifices to make, because I can now sit back and think, I remember the first time my baby number 1 was crawling and baby number 2 and all the rest of it. So yeah, you've got pictures, you've got videos, but without all of that, I can picture it in my mind very clearly where I was, what we were doing, when my kid started to walk for the first time, her first words and all the rest of it. And that is priceless. And it's one of those that I've never given up on that dream of being, the successful coach. And now my kids are a lot older, I can revisit that. I can revisit doing the whole thing. And if I was to give advice to an up-and-coming coach or an up-and-coming entrepreneur, I would say, you don't have to do what I've done. You can work the 70-hour weeks and 100-hour weeks and be very, very successful. If you're single, it'll work fine. If you're in a relationship, up to a point, it'll work fine. You can be supportive. But when you've got your first child on the way, it's up to you to make that decision of what the life is going to look like for you.